Honestly, sometimes you just need to make the investment. Like sometimes you just need to put some skin in the game and do it. And even that, there's magic in that too.
You're listening to the Redefining Wealth podcast with Patrice Washington. In today's episode, I sit down with money and lifestyle expert Sandra Grahame. She shares with us what it's like to reconnect to purpose. Hey there, this is Patrice Washington from patricewashington.com, where we chase purpose, not money. Welcome back to another episode of Redefining Wealth. If you're new here, here's what you should know. Wealth is so much more than just money and material possessions. It's true. The original 12th century definition of wealth is the condition of well-being. And so on this podcast, we seek to unpack what that means and what it looks like in our everyday lives, because we focus on the 6 pillars of wealth. These are the areas of life that impact our finances, even when we're not thinking about it consciously. And if you don't know anything about the 6 pillars of wealth, I suggest you go to my website, patricewashington.com/start here, and grab the cheat sheet, get the free audio training so that you can understand these 6 pillars a bit more in depth. It's really going to be a blessing to you on your journey to building wealth, however you define it. Now, before we jump into this week's episode, I need you to know it's brought to you by Committed to the Call. That is my 5-day challenge kicking off August 9th. And I'm super excited. Every time I do a 5-day challenge, we get thousands of people in, and the feedback, the testimonials, the results from participating in this free event are just phenomenal. This will be an opportunity for you to reassess your gifts, to learn how to embrace some maybe underutilized strengths, and finally answer the call on your life so you can walk boldly in your purpose. As you know here, my wish for you is that you live your life's purpose, find fulfillment, and earn more without ever feeling like you have to chase money. And I know that sometimes that's hard to really unpack and do on your own. So I'm going to help you do it every evening beginning August 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're registered so you can get access to the replays. Join us. There'll be over $25,000 of giveaway throughout the week. And I'm just super excited for what I know it's going to do for you as you finish the year strong. So get all the details at patricewashington.com/challenge. That's patricewashington.com/challenge. Hey there, this is Patrice from patricewashington.com, where we chase purpose, not money. Welcome back to another episode of Redefining Wealth. If you're brand new here, then welcome. You made it in the middle of an amazing series where I'm highlighting some of my clients from my Purpose to Platform program. But here's what you should know. We are a community that believes that wealth is so much more than just money and material possessions. We believe in the 12th century definition of wealth, which is the condition of well-being. And so around here, we want to make sure that folks are building wealth, but from a holistic space, from a space that really makes sure that they're in alignment with their purpose, that they're fulfilled, and that they're doing the thing that really lights them up. And so this episode is actually brought to you by my upcoming challenge, Committed to the Call. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? What are you afraid of? What could you not receive, right, from us having live, intimate conversation about purpose, about passion, about giving, about doing the thing that you were uniquely called to do? What do you have to lose? Nothing, I know. So come on over to patricewashington.com/challenge. That's patricewashington.com/challenge, and see what all the hype is about. Thousands of people have been through my challenges, and they will tell you, no matter what, you're going to leave with something. If you come open to receive and open and willing to learn about how you can really step into your purpose and commit, not just show interest, but be fully committed, you're going to walk away with tangible and intangible golden nuggets. So come and get them. Now, before I get into this conversation with Sandra, which I so enjoyed. Let me tell you a little about her. Sandra Grahame is a money and lifestyle expert whose own financial success story has been featured on Oprah, The Today Show, CNN, The New York Times, and so much more. She's a 2-time author, a keynote speaker, and most importantly, she's a smart cookie. Smart Cookies is her online education platform and community for ambitious women ready to bring their richest goals to life. Without further ado, here's my conversation with a Purpose to Platform alumni, Sandra Grahame. Welcome to the Redefining Wealth podcast, Sandra.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be here.
No, you're not more excited than I am.
I don't know about that, but I love it.
I'm so excited. I think this has been a long time in the making because I was going through my DMs and I actually noticed some messages from you a while ago. And I don't think that I connected when you came into Purpose to Platform that you were the same person and all those things. I would love to hear from you how you originally found me.
Yes. You know, it's so funny, Patricia, everything in that moment just came flooding back to me. So I don't remember the exact path that led me to find you, but I do remember the moment that I decided to send you that DM. So it was, I think it's like January 2020. So we were on the cusp of obviously a new decade. It was before we knew what was going to go down in the months ahead. And I had this moment, I was watching my son's hockey game, and I had this moment where I just thought, okay, 10 years are going to pass in a hot minute again. And in my mind, I flashed forward to my son being 18 years old, my daughter, like I could just see it in my mind. And I had been feeling this feeling for such a long time that I really needed there was something more, something deeper. And I was ready to do the things that I had been honestly blocking myself and been scared to do for a long time. So literally as I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm just going to reach out to all the people I admire and really try to connect and like rejuvenate this next stage of my career and my purpose. And so somehow down the Instagram rabbit hole, I found you and just sent a cold DM out of nowhere. And I think you got back to me that same day, which was so sweet. But then that whole year and everything, just the path of how I connected with you and how I found out and discovered Purpose to Platform. And now here we are. It's such a beautiful full circle moment. And I feel like the stars really aligned in a beautiful way.
I love full circle moments. I definitely do. And I remember getting an email from you when you were considering Purpose to Platform. Yes. And the thing that was so different about you, Sandra, is you already came with a lot, right? So tell me about what your business was like before you even knew of me or came to Purpose to Platform.
It's true. So when I came to Purpose to Platform, I had a brand that had been launched on Oprah's stage. And as amazing as that is, Patrice, honestly, it was one of my biggest insecurities too, because I felt like we play these games with our head, right? We should be at a further stage. We should be more successful given all of the amazing opportunities and blessings that have come our way. So that's where I was at. I was like caught in this place of, I have this brand, I have this platform, but something is missing. I remember writing that to you, and then you sent me the sweetest note back, and you'd gone to the website. And you said, yeah, in the kindest way, yes, like something is missing. Like you're missing the mark, you're missing the connection. And that's what I was feeling too. So Smart Cookies had also started with my 5 best friends. And it was not a business. It was all of us just getting together to really get our financial lives together. We couldn't find any resources that really related to us as young women trying to buy our homes and trying to start investing and pay off debt. And so we thought, okay, we're just going to pave our own path and we're going to do it ourselves. And so we did. So over the course of a year, we came together in community and helped each other. Looking back, yes, it was about the money, but what we really did was help each other envision the real life that we wanted to live. And then money became a piece of that puzzle. And we were able to do some amazing things financially. And ended up, it was Oprah's Debt Diet series that inspired us to meet and follow sort of the tools that she had on her website at the time. And so that full circle moment was being invited on her show at the end of that first year to share our success story and how we did it. So the business of Start Cookies did not exist when we were on Oprah's stage. So it all, the pieces clearly all fell into place after that, but it's been a really interesting journey.
So I remember you saying at one point, though, that you were feeling kind of disconnected from the work. So you knew you were doing good work. You built this platform. You're walking in your purpose, and yet there was something. Yeah. How do you now, looking back, how do you now think about what that something actually was?
Yeah, I was terrified to be myself. And so, yeah, I'll cry talking about it, but it's so easy. And the whole brand was built on us being ourselves. And then it very quickly turned into, okay, you have your own TV show. You have to dye your hair brown and put on a business suit and pretend to be all, and you just do all those things because what is this life? Like you're just caught up in everything. And I totally lost myself and then took over the business from the other girls. And that was a beautiful experience. And I had their blessing, but I was so insecure about doing it on my own. At that same time, I had a newborn son. I was a new wife. So I was learning all these new roles and I just totally lost myself. I think that happens to a lot of women.
Oh, yes. Hand raised. Right? Hand raised. Yes. I definitely, and I know from a finance person as well. Yes. Right. I know what it's like when you come in and you're listening to all these voices or you're watching other folks in the market. And it's like, oh, I need to look more business. I need to wear the suit. I need to quote unquote, be more professional. I need to make sure that all my I's are dotted and T's are crossed and I'm speaking with perfect diction and all this. And it's like, girl, that's not
no, like that's not me. It's not me. It's not you. And I think that's, Patrice, what attracted me to you and your brand. I was so inspired. I felt like you had gone through that journey and you were in yourself so beautifully and doing the work and making the impact, but as you. And that's where I was like, I need to surround myself with women like that. I need to learn from women like that. And thankfully, we had the opportunity to do that together. But yeah, so that's the very short version of a very long journey is where that led me to. But yeah, it was not being myself. It was being terrified to be myself. It is so much easier to show up as a version of yourself or what you think people expect you to be, which is a weird thing, but you can hide behind that, right? And so I think I was
safe.
It's so safe. And I think I was terrified to really step into who I really was because of that fear of rejection. It's okay to be rejected if you're playing a character, I feel like, but if you're showing up as you and then you're going to be not validated and not have that love shared back, it's a scary, that's what my fear was. And that's what I worked through. And that's what, where I'm on the other side, but it's still a journey. Like I still catch myself in that pattern for sure.
Oh yeah. I do too. Right. Like, no, I don't think anyone is ever totally out of it, especially when you've spent more years in that way of being with those limiting beliefs. Like I've spent way more years being the other Patrice versus like who people see today. And I'm like very careful to say that it's a daily acknowledgement and decision to like remember that I'm enough.
Yeah. And it's refreshing to hear that even you acknowledging that too is so refreshing because again, in this space, it's so easy to get caught up in. You need to be perfect and you can't be vulnerable and you have to pretend to have it all figured out. And the truth is, we're all learning and sharing, but it's a practice. It has to be, we're human beings. Like this is a practice we're in, but I think acknowledging that and connecting with women and community and people who are genuinely, like you said, I love it, walking in their purpose. Yeah. When you see that, just gravitate towards that. And that is helpful because that is the reminder when you're having that day, when you're in your head again and you're in your small self. And it's really easy to get caught up in that, to have those reminders and have those people in your life and in your circle who are going to remind you and elevate you out of that state, right? We need that.
So Sandra, I have to be honest, I was really concerned about you in PTP. I was like, okay, I really hope that she's like she's getting something out of this
Yes.
because you were so established. I'm like, I hope that she finds that thing. And sometimes, people reach out just as you did, and they're like, I need to know exactly what I'm gonna get from people. And I'm like, girl, it listen, it may come through revelation
Yes.
in a Friday Q&A call. It
Yes.
may come through watching someone else share. It may come and seeing someone else like show up for themselves and be that reminder, like, you know what? I need to show up for myself. I don't know what's going to be the thing for you that starts to like shift, right? Something. So that's why I was concerned. I was like, is Sandra coming? Is she logging in?
I know. And I was there. And honestly, I wish I could have been more active and had my face in the conversation more. It was a crazy summer. But that said, here was my journey going through E2P. It was listening to the conversations, first of all, going through the modules and crying, and then re-listening to the modules. And then I needed those prompts. I had all this stuff inside of me, and I needed those prompts to be able to, first of all, untangle all of the things that were going on inside my mind. And also remind myself of one of my favorite exercises, doing the brag binder, and pulling like testimonials and quotes and all of these beautiful things along the way, the lives that I impacted that I honestly had forgotten about, and to acknowledge that and acknowledge those beautiful stories within our Smart Cookie community. So that was a big aha, going through all of the questions and the prompts and the exercises that you had, and then listening to the conversations and sort of watching what was happening in the Facebook group. And was I in there every day? Not by a long shot, but I was watching. It's still to this day, that's my favorite group to pop in and see the encouragement and see the love and the challenges and just the realness that happens in that group is so amazing. And so I was listening to that. I was listening to the questions on the call, and just listening to the conversations and the real time coaching and the real time. There's something, and I think when I initially reached out, I was like, I'm interested in P2P, but do you do one-on-one coaching? And you were so clear about like, no, this is not my purpose, that there's something magic that happens when you're in the group dynamic. And it's so true, because sometimes you don't know the question to ask. And sometimes you have a feeling and a thought, but you're not sure how to articulate it, or you're not ready to, for whatever reason. And so listening to the other women was so powerful. And to be able to connect with Lacey and Megan and some of the amazing women who have reached out, and honestly reached out to me. Lacey, I don't know if you know this, but she sent me a Facebook message, and she was like, I know this is so out of the blue, but you were on my heart and I wanted to reach out. And I sent her back, I'm like, you have no idea how much that means to me. And the timing of it was so perfect. It was so perfect. And so that to me was my experience. And it really was getting to being part of that community in the path to have the courage to take the next step in my business, and more importantly, my life, that I needed to be back in that state of momentum. Like I was really stuck and I needed that. And again, to your point, like it's not as specific. There wasn't one like tool or exercise. It's not that. It's you're in this experience, right? So if you are ready when I look back on the success, and this is something you talked about in the group, when you really look at when you're in flow and when you're in success and when you have financial flow and the pieces are in place, what is happening in your life? And for me, it's when the money's coming in and the magic moments are happening, when I am in momentum. And the only way to get into momentum is to put yourself in a situation where you can start moving. And you need a group of, you need that community, and you need that guide to help you push through. And honestly, sometimes you just need to make the investment. Like sometimes you just need to put some skin in the game and do it. And even that, there's magic in that too. So it was an amazing experience. It's still an experience. It's still something that's so cherished and part of my life.
Oh, I love that so much. I remember you were tagging just different coaches that you work with, and different folks that you've had support you throughout your journey. And I got to follow a lot of those ladies. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I was a part of that space in your Insta stories. And you said something that I won't forget. And this is what made me feel like, I don't have to see every single person in the program to hopefully make some type of impact,
Yes.
right? Because I used to attach like,
Yeah.
have they told me? Have they said this? Like, how do I know? I want to know, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, as you start to scale a group, it's harder to keep up with every single person.
Yes.
But you have to believe that you are making impact. And one of the things that you sent me that I took a screenshot of and I keep as a reminder was that, you know, you got a great foundation and purpose to platform for which to continue to work with other people. And we always say purpose to platform is not an end all be all, but hopefully like for you, it's that spark to keep going, to get unstuck, to stay in momentum so that you can build upon it. And you did a lot of things since then. So I'd love to hear.
Yeah, I just got goosebumps when you said that because it's so true. It was the spark. Like that's what I was missing. I was missing the spark, and part of the journey of being in P2P reignited that for me 100%. So never doubt the impact you are having, Patrice, because it reaches far beyond what you see. And so so I think things moved really quickly last year, and especially after last summer. And a lot of the things that I had been resisting for a long time, even doing a rebrand of the website. When I took over Smart Cookies from the other girls, I took my face off the brand. Like I just literally was like, this is not me. This is not, and again, that was all part of the journey, but and so I had done some, you know, I was getting scrappy and being a smart cookie and had done some things on my own. I'm like, I am ready to level up this brand, and to attract that, honestly, to some extent, like the next level of community that I wanted to track and partnerships that I wanted to attract into my orbit that I felt ready for. And so that was a big deal, doing the huge rebrand, which going through that process, and I worked with High Moon Studio, and I could not have done that process had I not gone through P2P, because a brand is a brand, like who cares? I wanted it to feel like something, and I wasn't going to do that unless I had started to really reconnect with what it meant. Like, this is so much more than a logo. This is so much more than whatever photo shoot you're going to do. Like, I wanted people to feel something. And so going through that process was amazing. Totally redoing how I was launching my signature program is called Your Richest Year. And so we went through a complete revamp about how that is run and how I connect with the women in the community. And we had an amazing, successful launch in January. A long time really resisted. This is obviously a common thing. I just needed to do everything myself, right? Like, I'm going to save money and I'm scrappy, and I've learned how to do all these things so I can do it. So that was obviously a big thing for me, to find the right team members to be able to help. And this summer might have been my biggest win, because it was my goal to really take the summer off and be with my kids. And I did it. Like, I'm in it. And it's just the weirdest feelings. I'm like, I should be doing all the things, but also this feels really good to sleep in and cook dinner.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good. And so that, I think, is the biggest win. And that's like a year almost exactly to going through the program.
Yeah, because you came in June 2020, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So here we are.
What a difference a year makes.
Well, and that's, exactly.
When you look back and you think of yourself maybe spring 2020 going into the summer, and like, look at where you are today. Did you feel like this was possible? Did you feel like...
I did. And that's where I was like, I need to do something, because I know myself, and I know that when I finally do the thing and I get the clarity, things happen really quickly. And so, I knew that things were going to happen quickly. I know that might be an odd thing to say, but I do know that about myself. Like, when I'm in it and I'm in flow and I'm in my purpose, things do happen quickly. So the goal is but also being on the other side of that, and being on this journey for so long now, I'm also trying to be very conscious of the pillars, right? Like, what is really important in terms of my family and my time, and where I'm putting my energy as a business owner and a mom and a wife and a friend and all of the things. So I'm being really cognizant of that. And I think that's the biggest gift in this chapter. I also turned 40 in September. So I'm also,
Welcome, girl. Welcome. Come on over.
I'm so excited. So I honestly wanted to do a lot of this work ahead of that, because I've always visualized this season and had this feeling in my gut that my 40s and 50s were going to be a really beautiful season. So I also knew I needed to do almost like the prep work to mentally and emotionally and spiritually open myself up to that. And this was definitely part of that.
Oh my gosh, we're like twins.
I
We're
know.
like chocolate and vanilla twins.
Twins.
Like I completely resonate with that because coming into my 40s, like the couple years leading up to it, I knew I had to just set things up differently. Obviously I didn't know what 2020 would hold. We didn't know that a pandemic was coming and all those things, but I felt in my spirit that I was in a season of preparation.
Yes.
And that preparation was going to set the foundation for the next 10 years. I felt that so strongly. And so to turn 40 this year in March and, just be in that groove where I am being myself. I am constantly reminding myself that I don't have to be anyone else, but also being just intentional about like, what does my life look like? I took time off this summer as well. And what does my life look like? What does, the next 4 years as my daughter heads to high school? What type of mom do I want to be? What type of teen parent do I want to be? Definitely not the one that cooks because that's not me. But, I will tote your children around. I have full coverage insurance. But like, who do I want to be?
Really want to be.
In this season as a business owner, as a leader, as a mentor, as a sister, as a wife, as a daughter, like who do I want to be? And then wrap my work around that. Not put my work, at the forefront and now everything else has to find a place. No.
I have felt that for so long too. Like your business has to flow with your life, not the other way around. Yeah. And we do that as entrepreneurs for so long, fit everything into until it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And so I so feel that. It's so funny. Yeah. One of my girlfriends, we still do like smart cookie goals calls every month or so. And we're obviously very goal oriented, driven. And Katie was saying, she's like, what are your goals like before you turn 40? And I'm like, honestly, like for the first time ever, I don't know if I actually have a goal. It's more of I want to be in this place of being able to receive like everything that I've created and has manifested and happened in my life so far and prepare myself. Just like you said, that season of like just needing to be prepared in the most beautiful way. So I think that's so funny that you're on the same path.
Yeah, it must be something with the 40 club. Like
I think so.
I want to ask you, so what's on the horizon for Smart Cookies?
Sure. So I have a couple of projects that have been on my heart for a long time that I am going to pursue in the fall and heading into the new year. So more to come on that. But then also continue to grow our Your Richest Year community. The women inside of there are so phenomenal. And the results, so funny. We tallied up last year during 2020, obviously crazy season, how much debt was paid off, by how much incomes were increased. And it was hundreds of thousands of dollars on both accounts. And so I'll clap for that. They are amazing women and they put in the work. They also were vulnerable to share like this journey is not perfect. There's going to be setbacks, but you can continue to move forward, raising each other up, cheering each other on. It's really that to me. I'm like, I had run those programs for a long time, but had been disconnected. And now I feel more and present with them. And it's a really beautiful spot to be in. So I'm really excited to revamp and keep growing that piece, more speaking events. Just, I feel like it's a really beautiful, abundant season right now. And I feel really lucky to be able to share that journey and share everything I've learned along the way. So that's what I'm most excited about what's coming up on the horizon, and a big party to celebrate.
Yes. You sound very fulfilled.
I am. Like, I feel like my husband and I just were away for a night celebrating our 11th anniversary. And I was like, I'm just so truly happy, like so truly content and happy. And I feel like that's a beautiful spot to be in. And I want to thank you for being part of that journey and for everything that I've learned and for everything in the P2P community. Those women are incredible. And I'm so constantly inspired by what is happening and being shared.
That makes me so happy. My My true desire for people more than anything is that they live their life's purpose and find fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
There is something beautiful about just knowing that, man, I woke up and did what I was called to do.
Yes.
Like, I'm being myself and yet I'm in service to others.
Yes.
And it's not about perfection. It's not like, and it's not necessarily about a dollar amount. Like, we like dollars. We are smart cookies. We like our dollars.
Exactly.
But what gives me true joy and brings contentment and peace and fulfillment is knowing that what I do, like, allows other people to shine in what they do. And just that ripple effect of the fulfillment and the contentment, it's beautiful. And like, truly, my heart is that more people experience this.
Mine too. I feel the same way. And that's why I'm so grateful that I think it's important that even as leaders in this space, we remind each other of that, right? Like, it's important to shine your light. It's like, do not ever dim that down. Like, because there's so many people who don't really believe that you can be truly happy and be financially fulfilled. And it doesn't need to feel like a grind. And it should be aligned with your soul. And so that's an important thing to not just talk about, but to live and to shine a light on that. So I could not be more grateful and inspired. And yes, like, to hear those stories of women in our community who have, been able to buy their dream homes and be able to send their kids to college and finally pay off the debt that was just stressing them out. Or even we've one woman in our community who's getting in vitro, like, all of these things, like, it's life. It's so much more than money. And so that to me is what I feel like is part of the reconnection with my purpose also, is to really help women use money as a tool to create the life that they are meant to live. And that's something that was missing a long time from my life. And so I feel immensely grateful to be able to help women elevate themselves and their bank accounts and their families and their girlfriends and whoever else is in their orbit. It's such a beautiful thing.
Sandra, I wanted to ask you these redefining wealth rapid wisdom questions before I let you go. So the first one is, how do you define success?
Going to sleep at peace and waking up excited.
Yes, I love that. Okay. How do you define wealth in 3 words or less?
Fulfillment, ease, and abundance.
Okay. I'm loving all these answers. Okay. What's one book that has helped you redefine wealth for yourself?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I read this book. It's called Into the Magic Shop by James Doty. And it has nothing to do with money, but everything to do with money. He's a neurosurgeon who came from extreme poverty and an abusive family situation. Anyways, I won't spill the whole beans, but it's a beautiful book about the power of the mind and the heart, and his journey to creating immense wealth and losing all of his wealth and building it back up, and everything that he learned along the way.
Oh, that definitely sounds like something.
It's a good one.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. And the last one, you're going to fill in the blank. My name is, and to me, the truth about wealth is.
Okay. So my name is Sandra. And to me, the truth about wealth is that it's limitless and the gateway to possibility.
Yes, I love that. I love it. Sandra, thank you so much for being here. I loved this conversation. And I'm so, so, so glad that you didn't hesitate. Well, I don't know if you hesitated, but you did reach out.
I really didn't. Ready or not, here I come.
I'm so glad that you reached out and that you felt that nudge saying to come on in and purpose the platform. And I'm so glad that you were able to reconnect to purpose during your time there. And I know it's only been barely a year that you purposed the platform. So I can only imagine sky's the limit.
Yeah, it's keeping the momentum going, and I'm so excited to keep building on that spark. So I'm super grateful.
All right. Did you not enjoy that? I just loved this conversation. Before we even started to record, I told Sandra I just felt like it would be so spirit-led. And I knew that we had a lot of similarities and there would be some synergy there, but Man, I really, really enjoyed this conversation. It's a great reminder to me that as I continue to grow this community, as I continue to grow Purpose to Platform, I realized talking to Sandra during this conversation that there's also always people watching who are being blessed, whether I always know it in that moment or not. And what a great lesson for all of us who are thought leaders, influencers, teachers, whatever it is that you do out there in the world, that there are people watching. And whether you hear from them every day or they're the most vocal in the crowd, doesn't mean that you're not creating impact. And that was such a big takeaway for me. And I think it should be a takeaway for you too, because if you've been interested in Purpose to Platform and maybe you do have a lot on your plate, but you know you're yearning for the information and you want to be able to kind of be a fly on the wall, right? And watch and learn and glean what you need, not necessarily everything the way we have it laid out, but come to get what you know is that missing piece for you. Where is that void for you? And be open to finding it in all the ways that we do community at Purpose to Platform. Hopefully, Sandra's message really just resonates with you as well. I hope it does. And I hope I'll see you next week at Committed to the Call. Really, really excited. I've really been preparing, studying, praying, because I just feel like there's so much to impart during that 5-day challenge. And I'm going to bring everything that I can. Truly am. So patricewashington.com/challenge. And again, don't forget, Smart Cookie, Sandra's program, has helped thousands of women from across the world just learn how to use money as a tool to create the life they want. I definitely suggest checking it out. Go find Sandra, go find Smart Cookie, and let her know that you found her here on the Redefining Wealth podcast. It's smartcookies.com. Just want to make sure I say that, smartcookies.com. Make sure that she knows that you found out about her here on the podcast, and go get your coins together. It sounds like her community is a beautiful addition to our community at Redefining Wealth. So make it happen. All right. Until next time, I want you to go live your life's purpose, find fulfillment, and definitely earn more without ever feeling like you have to chase money. I'll talk to you later.